Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, where we give you a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today's episode, the topic is the one thing Lakers fans are overlooking going into training camp this season. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out our Dreamerspro Short Clips channel, our Dreamerspro Podcast, which we have linked in the description below. So let me just get into the topic here. So there's a great chance that I may piss off some Lakers fans, and that's fine, because guess what? You're not going to make everybody happy. We did a video not too long ago. Seems like some Clippers fans like that. So, hey, Lakers fans like that. So that's life. You can't make everybody happy. Anyway, let's talk about the Lakers going into this new season and going into training camp. Now, first of all, for us to be able to do that, first of all, they won the championship last season, so they have a lot of momentum going into this season because they're fresh off a championship. Players that have never won will be more confident, like Anthony Davis and others. So there's that there. LeBron James can at least look and say, "Hey, listen, the complement of players, that I'm with, have more experience under their belt. They're all championship players now." So he may, because we all know LeBron likes to play with experienced basketball players. So they have that going for them. Now, if we look at their offseason moves, they lost Dwight Howard, who was a defensive stalwart for that team, anchor, multiple time defensive player of the year. They lost him. He went to the Philadelphia 76ers. Rajon Rondo, who was probably the third best player in the playoffs, very pivotal player, key player in helping them win that title, capture that title, the 17th banner for the Lakers. He ended up deciding to go to the Atlanta Hawks because they were able to offer him a good amount of money, so he left. Danny Green ended up walking as well. He's gone. JaVale McGee, who's a very athletic big, he's gone. And they also lost Avery Bradley. Now, hey, listen, Avery Bradley wasn't even there. He didn't even show up to the NBA bubble, so it's hard to kind of measure the impact of losing him because he wasn't even there. They won the title in spite of him not even being there. So they lost him as well. So he's gone. Now they were able to retain KCP, who was a very good player, a lot of great energy, great defender, could hit the three, run the floor really well, can finish very well, go at the basket, had a lot of athleticism, a lot of quickness, speed, and all of that. So they kept him, which is really important to their championship aspirations. The major shock in NBA free agency was them picking up Montrezl Harrell. They picked him up and they got him from under the Clippers, and he was able to sign with them. And some people feel like that's definitely going to bolster their bench or add an additional 18 points and 7 rebounds to their offense this season. So he's definitely going to help because he was the sixth man of the season, NBA last season. Although I do have some issues, I do have some questions about his size because he's not big. He's like 6'7". He's a 6'7" power forward, and you saw how Nikola Jokic was able to take advantage of. Just he wasn't big enough. Like he didn't, as Shannon Sharp says, he didn't have enough bricks in his back pockets. But you saw it wasn't the case when he was playing against the Lakers when he could throw Dwight Howard at him, who's a sensational defender. Then they could throw Anthony Davis at him, who's an All NBA defender, and you can even throw JaVale McGee at him. So they lost some size. They were also able to pick up Marc Gasol, though, who's a great defensive big. He's an NBA champion. He just recently said it wasn't easy for him to leave the Toronto Raptors this season because he was with the Raptors for the last few years, at least the last 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. So they got him. He's a great defender, great size, a big body to throw at other teams. So they have him. They were able to replace Avery Bradley with Wesley Matthews. Wesley Matthews is known as a defensive player. He has great size, great athleticism. And another key pickup is Dennis Schroeder. I hope I'm saying this guy's name. They picked him up, and he's supposed to be the replacement for Rajon Rondo. And time will tell, because Rondo's value is unquestionable. We all saw the value that he brought to the Lakers, especially through their playoff run. Although he was injured, he got into the bubble a little bit later. But the moment he was there, the impact was felt. Now, maybe the Lakers felt moving him probably because of his injury history and probably his age. They were like, hey, listen, we don't need him. But listen, Rajon Rondo's real value comes in the playoffs, and I'm assuming if you were to retain a player like that, it would be for the playoffs because really that's where you need him. In the regular season, it's not like I said the Lakers are not going to have the top 2 or 3 seed in the Western Conference, so that was never in question, in doubt. But having Dennis Schroeder there, we're going to have to see if he can be a good replacement for Rajon Rondo. Time will tell. However, this is the one thing that Laker fans maybe overlooking, which is this. The Lakers could possibly fall into the trap of believing their own hype. Some of you guys might be saying, what are you talking about, their own hype? The thing that's happening right now is that the Lakers have dominated the free agency market as far as moves that were being made, Rob Pelinka and these guys. That seems to be the general consensus in the sports media. Now, some people have had some pushback on it and say, hey, listen, they think some of the moves have been overrated. However, in general, most people are saying that the Lakers have had the best offseason and they're better than they were last season. Fine. And with everyone picking them, what ends up happening is that players start to believe their own hype. Let's look at the Clippers last season. Most of us picked the Clippers to win the title. Even in that Game 7, going into that Game 7, people that were happy that they lost picked the Clippers, right? That's the funniest thing. Even the fact that they lost, people still picked them to win that game. Everyone picked them, and the Clippers believed their own hype. Minus the fact that they may have had some injury issues throughout the season and chemistry might have been a role. But they were good enough to beat that team. It's just that they expected the Denver Nuggets to lay down. They got up 3-1 on them, and they were like, okay, are we done? Can you guys stop playing now? And the Denver Nuggets were not willing to do that, and they lost, even though everyone picked them going into the season. Now, some of you guys may say, well, because you're a Clipper fan, what do you expect from the Clippers, man? The Clippers will lose, blah, blah, blah. Oh, really? Let's go a little bit further back. Y'all remember the Dallas Mavericks? A few seasons ago with Dirk Nowitzki, they won like 60-plus games. They had the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and they were expected to run away with the NBA championship that season. Do you guys remember what happened? They got knocked off by an 8-seed Golden State Warriors who had Baron Davis, Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, and these boys knocked off the number 1 seed Dallas Mavericks, which was probably one of the biggest NBA upsets in NBA history. They knocked them off. Everyone thought that team was going to win the NBA title. Everyone thought they were going to win the title. I'll give you a more recent example. The Miami Heat. Y'all remember the Heatles? You remember the Heatles? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. Y'all remember that? Do you guys remember that team that also went on like a 22-game winning streak? I think their first season. Y'all remember that Heat that went to the finals? They were overwhelming favorites to beat the Dallas Mavericks. Do you guys remember what happened in the finals? Do you remember how it was a complete meltdown by the Miami Heat? LeBron James and all these guys. I think in one game, LeBron scored 8 points in a game. Do you guys remember that? Was that not a meltdown? Was the entire sports world not picking the Miami Heat to win that series, to win that series in the finals? Am I mistaking something here? Did that not happen? Did I not just give you 3 instances of that happening? What I'm not saying it could happen, but what I'm saying is, if you believe your own hype to the point where you expect to win, that's when major letdowns happen. And most people may not be paying attention to that because of hype. People usually, if people keep telling you you're great, you're great, you're great, you're great, you're great, after a while, you're going to believe it, and you're going to believe that it's true. Now, I'm not going to take a shot at this dude. I'm not taking a shot at this dude, but I'm just going to give you guys an example. DJ Khaled. All of you guys know who DJ Khaled is. I like some of his songs, right? All of you guys know who DJ Khaled is. However, DJ Khaled has come out and said on numerous, I think it's hilarious, DJ Khaled says that he's a sex symbol. DJ Khaled believes that he's a sex symbol. What would make DJ Khaled believe he's a sex symbol? Number one, he's successful. People keep telling him that he's great, and he starts to see himself in a different light. I must be great. I am a sex symbol. How the hell is DJ Khaled a sex? Take it from somebody that's trying to lose weight and trying to get in shape. I'm not going to take off my shirt, look in the mirror and see my gut and be like, oh, I'm a sex symbol. You're delusional. But when people start telling you you're great, there's a funny thing and people start believing it and people get complacent. You may have thought, hey, I need to go to the gym, but why do I need to go to the gym? Everybody keeps telling me I'm a sex symbol, when in reality, you're not. Letdowns do happen, and it's one thing that could happen. Now, emotional Laker fans are going to say, hey, man, these are the emotional crowd, and they're always going to be emotional, right? Their panties are always going to be in a bunch whenever you say anything negative. But it could happen. If I'm lying, tell me all of the examples that I just used just now. If those things didn't happen, and if history has shown that it could happen, then there's no reason it can't happen to you. And if you're saying, well, LeBron James, it could never happen to LeBron, it already did, right? It already did. It happened to Kobe Bryant before. The only person I can think of that it did not happen to was Michael Jordan. It's happened to Kobe, when the Lakers acquired Karl Malone and Gary Payton, and they had Shaq and Kobe for All-Star, and they lost to the Detroit Pistons. So it has happened before. So it's not like as if the players are immune to it. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you agree with me? Do you think there's a possibility? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but do you think there's a possibility given the historical evidence I've given to you guys? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.